Despite those gusty desert winds, Sabrina Carpenter took the stage as last night's headliner.
Sunday. So we have Sabrina Carpenter, who performed at Coachella when she dropped Espresso for the first time, and then obviously she actually performed it at Coachella for the first time, which then blew up her career massively.
Sabrina Carpenter is getting dragged across every platform right now, and not for anything she did wrong. Someone started yodeling. In the middle of her Coachella set, she asked them to stop. And somehow, that one moment on stage in the California desert has turned into a full cancellation wave with 28 million views and counting. She already said sorry. And honestly, that might have been the worst move she could have made. So here is what is actually happening. Sabrina Carpenter is in the middle of her set at Coachella. Thousands of fans in the crowd, lights blazing across the festival stage, and someone in the crowd starts doing a loud, drawn-out chant during her show. Not clapping, not singing along. A zagruta, which is an Arab cheer, basically a high-pitched yodeling sound. And Sabrina, on stage, in the moment, looks out and says, "Is that what you're doing? I don't like it."
Is that what you're doing? I don't like it.
Now, if you are a singer who has practiced a set, who has paying fans standing in front of you, and someone starts making a loud sound that has nothing to do with the song you are singing, that response seems pretty human, pretty normal, pretty much what any of us would say if someone started yodeling during our work meeting. But girl, you know how this goes. Nobody watched the full clip. They watched the reaction clip. The clip goes viral almost right away.
Is this Burning Man? What's going on? This is weird.
The person who posted it spins it as Sabrina Carpenter shutting down someone's Arab culture on a world stage. And in the background of the copyright-claimed clips, you can barely hear one of the people yodeling shout that this is their culture, that they are Arab, and that she should accept it. That spin is all it takes. What comes next makes that first clip look like nothing. Within hours, the story fully shifts. On Reddit, a post about what happened racks up over 11,000 upvotes. And the top comments are not asking whether a singer has the right to run her own show. They are asking whether Sabrina Carpenter is hiding bias behind a pretty face. The most upvoted comments say things like, "She clearly doesn't have a single Arab friend," and "Don't give white women a chance. They'll let you down every time." These are not random troll accounts or weirdos buried at the bottom. These are the top comments with thousands of upvotes each. Meanwhile, posts standing up for Sabrina, posts asking the very fair question of why anyone feels they have the right to force their cultural chants onto thousands of other paying crowd members. Those are getting taken down. Mods are pulling them. The only version of this talk that Reddit allows to stay up is the one where Sabrina is the bad guy. And somehow, this picking and choosing is not by accident. It is a pattern. A site that rewards groupthink and shuts down pushback will always land on the most heated version of any story, because that version gets clicks. And clicks are the only thing that matters. People tried pointing out that Zagrauta is a cultural thing, not a religious one. That it is Arab, not Islamic. That the difference matters if you are going to accuse someone of being closed-minded. The person who posted it said the difference does not matter, and that Sabrina should still be blamed for being problematic. If you are wondering how that logic works, you are not alone. But logic is not really running the show here. Okay, so now Sabrina is in a no-win spot. The clip has 28 million views. Sabrina is trending. The label, anti-Arab, is stuck to her name on every platform. And she does what almost every female pop star in her place does. She says, sorry. Her statement sounds like it was written by a PR person at 3 in the morning. She says she could not see or hear clearly what was going on, she should have handled it better, and that she welcomes all cheers and yodels from here on out. And this is the part where you want to just set your phone down and walk away, because the apology makes absolutely nobody happy. The people who were already mad at her say the apology is fake, that she does not mean it, and that she only said it because she got caught. The people who were standing up for her say she just threw away every bit of trust by giving in to a mob that was never going to accept her anyway. On X, the main response is the same thing over and over. Why would you say sorry? Why wouldn't you stand your ground and stick up for yourself? Because here is the ugly truth about apologies in 2026. They are not about being sorry, they are about giving up. When a celeb says sorry to an online mob, they are not fixing the problem. They are showing the mob it has power. And once you show that, you are never getting that power back. Sabrina is now stuck on her back foot, trying so hard not to upset the most easily triggered slice of a million-person fan base. This choice seemed small at the time. It was not. Now, a lot of people are comparing this to what happened with Sweeney. And I think the comparison is actually really telling, because it shows you the two roads you can take and where each one leads. Sydney had her own mess over a clothing ad. People wanted an apology. The online crowd got loud, got organized, got nasty. The pressure was intense, and Sydney Sweeney looked at all of it and said no. She refused. Flat out. When a reporter gave her an open door to walk through and give the standard celeb apology, Sydney basically said, "When I have something I want to say, people will hear it." That was it. No begging, no PR-approved statement, just a woman deciding that her own mind mattered more than the loudest voices on the internet. And what happened? The story faded. The outrage machine moved on. Sydney's career did not take a hit. If anything, people respected her more for it. Sabrina picked the other road. She said sorry, and the story got bigger. Because saying sorry does not close the loop. It proves the charge. If you are keeping score, one of these women is still standing on her own terms. The other is now scanning every crowd for yodelers, hoping she does not by accident upset someone she cannot see at a festival she was hired to headline. Which, looking back, tells you everything about how these things really play out. Alright, so let me step back here for a second, because this Sabrina mess is not a one-off. It is a sign of something bigger that keeps happening to the same kind of celeb over and over. There is an idea that explains all of this perfectly. People who go by their own gut, look at a moment, decide what they think, and act on it. If they are wrong, they shift. But they start from what they actually believe. Then there is another group. People who cannot act on their own beliefs because they need to know what the group thinks first. If they believe something the tribe does not agree with, they risk getting pushed out. So they run everything through group approval before they respond. Sabrina Carpenter's fans lean heavily in one direction, and that means she lives inside the groupthink trap. She cannot just say what she thinks. She has to say what the most touchy, most loud, most always online corner of her fan base will accept. And if that corner decides that asking someone to stop yodeling during espresso is an act of wiping out a culture, then Sabrina has to treat it like one. Sydney Sweeney's fans are different, more mixed, more okay with a woman who speaks her mind. So when Sydney refuses to bend, her fans respect it. When Sabrina tries the same thing, her fans rip her apart. This is not about who is braver, it is about who has room to be brave. And Sabrina, right now, does not have that room. If you're finding this interesting, subscribe. I cover stories like this every single week. The celeb drama nobody else breaks down this way. While all of this is playing out on social media, something else is going on that most people are not talking about. The reason this story has legs, the reason it did not just fade after 48 hours like most Coachella drama, is because it hits a much bigger nerve. The idea that certain identities always outrank others in any clash, no matter the context. Sabrina Carpenter, hit-selling pop star, headlining one of the biggest music festivals on the planet, gets cut off during her own show. In any other time, the talk is simple. Singer asks the crowd to be respectful. Crowd either listens or gets walked out. Everyone moves on with their night. But we do not live in that time. We live in one where the identity of the person doing the cutting in matters more than the cut-in itself, where the spin shifts from someone messed up a concert to a white woman shut down Arab voices, and once that spin is in place, the facts stop mattering. And this is the part that still does not make sense to most people watching. A singer running her own stage becomes proof of bias. A crowd member choosing to chant over a pop song becomes a bold act of cultural pride. And anyone who points out how wild that is gets their post deleted by a mod in Portland who has never been to Coachella. The first viral clip racked up 28 million views before it got copyright claimed. 28 million. That is more than most of Sabrina's actual music videos get. And the clicks were not driven by fans who love her music. They were driven by people who love the rush of catching someone doing something wrong. That is the engine behind all of this. It was never about fairness or caring about culture. It is outrage as fun, blame as a sport people watch. So where does Sabrina Carpenter go from here? Because the apology is out, the clip is everywhere, and the story has locked into something she cannot take back. She is now the pop star who does not respect other cultures. Google it, and that is what comes up. Search her name on TikTok, and that is the first thing you see. People who have never heard a single one of her songs will carry that label with them. And she cannot undo it, because she already backed it up by saying sorry. Every future live show is now a danger zone. Every crowd moment carries risk. Every quick comment on stage gets looked at through the lens of, is this going to be the next clip that gets 28 million views? And the saddest part of all of this is that none of it had to happen. A firm, I'm here to sing, and I need the crowd to let me do my job, would have been enough. A Sydney Sweeney-style refusal to play the game would have ended the story in 2 days. Instead, Sabrina is now a warning. A lesson for every female singer who thinks she can run her own stage without first checking with the court of public opinion. The real question is not whether Sabrina Carpenter handled this well or badly. The real question is whether any pop star with her kind of fans can actually get away with being honest on camera anymore. And based on everything we have seen this week, the answer is not looking good. That is the talk nobody is having, and it is the only one that really matters.